going on, guys? We about to go visit Sheikh Muhammad Diddi.
Muhammad Wuld Addi.
Muhammad Wuld Addi.
Muhammad Addi.
He's one of the old or the previous Mashaykh of Abd al-Haq. So you know, I'm looking at a few options on who I can learn from and what I can learn from here in the city first. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I might just make one vlog about it because
he's like one of the only of the scholars of Hadith here in Mauritania. Very, very, very well versed in Hadith and Aqidah. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. He has asanid. They say he's the Sanad of Mauritania. Sanad al-Shinqit. They say he's
so you memorize Kutub al-Sitta as well, right?
Yeah, memorize Kutub al-Sitta. And they said that there's not a dalil that's used within the Quran and the Sunnah for fiqh except for that he knows the dalil. Because obviously the source is the Quran and Sunnah, right?
Right.
So alhamdulillah, he has a program specifically based off strong memorization, and his program's a little bit different than everybody else's. He recommends that the tulab begin with Umdat al-Ahkam, then Bulugh al-Maram, and then the Quran. So his hikmah, and everybody has their own thing. The scholars always mention that Talib al-Ilm is not something tawqifiyya, that it's not something that's been revealed as wahi. So everybody has their own ijtihad and what's right and what's wrong. So his opinion is that once you memorize Umdat al-Ahkam, which is about 400 hadith, give or take, and then you memorize Bulugh al-Maram, which is about, I think that's 1,000 or 1,500, Allah alam, I'm not exactly sure, or maybe even 2,000, I'm not sure. And then he said by the time you're done with that the Quran will be simple, and they memorize in a short amount of time because your memory is already strong. And he's a scholar that believes in taking fiqh directly from the hadith. So it being as though that the ulama recommend that you start with your Fadl al-Ain, remember, you know, from the Aqidah and fiqh standpoint, his fiqh is directly from the hadith. So Bulugh Maram and Umdat al-Ahkam are directly dealing with hadith. We should have went straight there. I'm sorry.
ممكن
No, that's okay. We go up here and I'll tell them where to go. So they memorize 10 hadith a day, starting with Umdat al-Ahkam, 10 hadith a day. And then after that, they some of the students were actually memorizing like 30, 40 hadith a day while they were doing Bulugh al-Maram, which is insane. And then they memorize the Quran in 4 months because they're like hardcore memorization program. Tell me to go straight.
على طول ممكن نمشي على طول توالي هكا؟
ايه نعم نمشي على طول. So we're gonna go see him now, inshallah. And he does Dorat in Aqidah. For example, we did Al-Ha'iyah with him. Alhamdulillah.
Old neighborhood.
Yeah. That brown door. That's my old house.
Okay.
This lady, she lived in another area. She owned it's a salon.
Yeah.
Like a salon. And she brought her sign and with her when she moved back. She's originally from Morocco. So this is my old neighborhood.
So how many rooms was in there?
Two big bedrooms, a living room like with that raised up living room floor that you had, a pretty decent sized kitchen. The bathroom was small, but it was clean. That had good water pressure. It was originally 40,000. We got it down. They gave it to us for 35,000 because we paid a couple months ahead. I think we paid 6 months up front.
Right.
Or no, maybe we didn't pay 6 months. 3 months.
I mean, it's better, you know, so you don't have to think next month. You know, you have 6 months. Just focus on whatever you need to get done.
So, because what happened was, we said in Nabaghi that they take many breaks during the year. So they take about a month and a half off, or 2 months actually, for like Ramadan. So when we were on break, we came up to the sheikh. What happened was actually, I didn't even plan to come here. We came and visited the sheikh one day with our brother, and the sheikh was telling us about his memorization program, and I was like, I was already planning to come to Nouakchott for the break.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, if we find a house, I'm gonna go live next to the sheikh. No. So when we left, we just started asking people. We started asking all the corner stores. That's what you can ask the corner stores in order to get. So you asked all the corner stores, and we found a house initially over here. It was bad though. And the guy tried to sell us the house, not even right.
وعن ثوبان رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال لكل سهو سجدتان بعد ما يسلم رواه أبو داود وابن ماجه بسند ضعيف. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سجدنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في إذا السماء انشقت وإقرأ باسم ربك واقرأ باسم ربك.
Then we pretty much stood there, spoke to the sheikh real quick, asked him a few questions, asked him about his program, what he advised me on doing. I was telling him if I stay with him 5 years, what can he get me to do? Where can he get me to? Obviously, with the help of Allah and my own, my own work, my own ijtihad. But then we pretty much stood there. The sheikh stepped out for a little bit. He was on the phone. His phone kept ringing questions every single minute, and the ones that he was answering, the ones that he wasn't answering. And then we spoke to him real quick. We didn't stay there for more than, I would say, 2 hours. Then we prayed a little bit with the little boys. Abdul was testing them on what they were learning and whatnot. We spoke a little bit to the students that were there, but since it was Friday, it was kind of like the calm day. All the students weren't there, and the sheikh teaches in his house with his children and whatnot. So, just giving you guys a little bit of organic footage. Trying to find a house next to the sheikh.
We got a cat in there.
It's not crazy bad, right?
No, it's just something that
How much is it? $10, huh? Probably $10 or something though.
Where's the bathroom at now?
The room, right? Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
the bathroom, bedrooms.
There's no bathroom in here. Bathroom is outside. Bathroom shit.
No bathroom.
No bathroom. Probably here outside. Tell me how he smells. Jeez, huh? I mean, it's good to know. Let's see outside, upstairs. Mashallah, you can come up here, revise in the morning. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Sorry I didn't record much. This is kind of like the fourth day. We're about to pick up some books right now. We went to the bookstore last time. Forgot to record. I will try and record this time the bookstore. And right now we're about to pick up the books. Yeah, what did these days? What did happen throughout these days? Yeah, well, came to Nouakchott, went to Qura, to the bookstore. Oh, we visited Muhaddith yesterday. That's probably my old sheikh. Used to memorize Hadith with. That was nice. He gave us his free book that he just wrote on Aqidah. Sharh of a poem written by Muhammad Salim Adud, rahimahullah. He's the biggest scholar from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And they say actually he was the most knowledgeable general in Mauritania in this era. So we got the explanation of his poem by my sheikh, Muhammad. We got to see him over there running down hadith and asanid from his head to some of his students and people that were calling on the phone. While sleeping.
Wow.
Or almost sleeping.
While half asleep. And
picking up calls.
Hey,
ignoring few of them.
Yeah, the phone didn't stop ringing the whole time we were there. So, mashallah, tabarakallah. Visited some nasty restaurants that Muhammad likes.
So until here, guys, I just want to remind you right now before signing off that this week we are having the How I Learn Arabic in 10-month webinar, where I explain you basically how I went from 0 to fluent in Arabic in 10 months and how you can do it in 15 months and how we can help you out with that. We go over a few different things on, little mistakes that non-native Arabs when starting to learn Arabic, the mistakes they do, the 1.75% concept that helped me to achieve that, and what my students are saying right now and whatnot. And at the end, for those attendees, I give you guys the webinar workbook, which is for free, so you can get it at the end of the webinar, inshallah, if you haven't been part of it. I'll see you guys there, and follow me on Instagram so we keep in touch. Wassalamu alaikum. Oh, by the way, the link for the webinar is in the description below. And remember to subscribe. And just let me know in the comments as well what you thought about this vlog. And yeah, I'm out.